we beefing?
Let's put it all on the table.
I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about it.
Who let us down?
Sir. Drop down or you give me 10 now.
Who disappointed us?
Oh, why didn't you just go home? That's your home. Are you too good for your home? Answer me.
No matter what you did, just know, we beefin'.
Okay, this is a nod to my roots. I grew up in Detroit, outside of Detroit, Michigan, listening to WDFN Amal Shah. The big-time show was called Stoney and Wojo, and they had a segment called What's Your Beef? And people called in about what they were pissed off about. We repurposed it, and it's simply called We Beefin'. I'm going to get started. There was a rag in Detroit, speaking of which, that put together a mock draft, and they had Bijan Robinson, who may be a Hall of Famer. I don't really care, but they had him going to the Detroit Lions in the first round. First off, DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams already there in Detroit. Secondly, can we stop valuing the position of running back? All you have to do is look at Kansas City. They're not going to pick up the option on Edwards-Helaire. They go grab Pacheco from Rutgers in the 7th round. He stars in the Super Bowl. This position, for example, Saquon Barkley, Amal Shah, the question of would you or would you not pay him? First off, he's 26 years old, which is essentially 45 for a running back, a depreciating asset, and the position of running back renders these dudes as just a guy. It's literally a position like Larry Zonka ain't walking through that door in 1968. It's a completely different game. It's a position that is literally a revolving door. Drafting a running back in the first round is asinine. So Bijan Robinson, who I know you like, and I do as well, although I do like Tyjae Spears, the kid out of Tulane, a lot as well, and that's my point. You can get Spears later in the draft, never spend capital on a running back that high. Amal?
First of all, I think you make some great points. I really want to disagree with you vehemently, but I can't. I don't like Bijan. I love this guy. I think he's one of the best players in the draft. I mean, this Ferrari has been hidden in the garage for a long time in Austin, and I can't wait till he gets to the league and somebody utilizes him properly. You know, to me, he reminds me a lot of Reggie Bush, not just the number 5, but the start and stop ability, strength. He could really do it all. I think he'll have probably a comparable, or if not better, career. Reggie had a pretty solid career. I know maybe not on par with what everyone expected out of USC, but I think Bijan's an absolute dude. But Patrick, I think you make some great points in terms of why, if you're Detroit, not only Swift and Williams, but drafting a running back in the first round, I think nowadays has to be like taking a kicker in the first round. You can't do it.
We got to stop valuing the position.
Yeah.
We really do. I mean, Pacheco was a great example this year.
That's
it just
exactly.
happens to be. Can I just also point out, you would agree Barry Sanders, top 3 of all time. Outside of Jim Brown, to me, he's the second best running back of all time. Barry Sanders was in Detroit for 10 years. Best running back in the league. They won 1 playoff game. And that's when the game was different. That's when the game was run reliant. All right, let's get off of the running backs.
I just want to amend one thing you said.
Yeah, go ahead.
Barry Sanders, top 3, I disagree with. He's number 1 all time because I'm not going to include Jim Brown because I never saw him play. So for me, I always I put the caveat out there. For the best player I ever saw play, Barry Sanders not only the best running back I saw play, but he's in the top 3 or 4 football players I've ever seen.
And just athletes in general, he's the biggest freak. One of the kids, go to YouTube and watch the highlights. You'll spend your whole day doing it.
The one play against the Patriots is amazing.
Yeah, he's incredible. We beefing them all. You're next. NFL Combine is overrated. Go ahead.
It is. Think about the Mike Mamulas out of Boston College. They put up great numbers. You run a great 40 time. Matt Jones out of Arkansas, you convert him to wide receiver. Jacksonville takes because he runs a 40 time. Patrick, when was the last time a guy on the field was doing bench press reps on the sideline and out there in a wife beater and shorts trying to catch the football? I don't care. Get out there in a helmet and pads. Let me see what you can do. Jerry Rice didn't have straight line speed, but he never got caught from behind when he was on the field. To me, there's a difference between football speed and straight line speed. And also, I get you're excited about a guy in a 3-cone drill and what they can do, but let me see what they've done on tape. And that's where I think Anthony Richardson's going to shoot up draft boards because of how he measures and how he does in terms of the combine. But what did he do when he was at Florida? That's my big concern and question mark. I just don't get the value that they put in the stock of the combine. I think too many players get overrated, overvalued, and then you wind up with a draft bust because you drafted them because they had a good individual workout.
Amal Shah saying the NFL Combine is overrated is a perfect time to let you know in 40 minutes we have a guest from the Combine, Charlie Campbell, WalterFootball.com. I think is perfect. I think you're onto something. Look, you do realize Richardson and Stroud are going to throw. Bryce Young's not even going to throw, and it's not going to adjust his stock at all.
Jalen Carter's not going to work out. You ever seen the movie Bloodsport?
No.
Great movie with Jean-Claude.
He's never seen any movie. Don't ever ask
Well, he
that.
saw Ali.
Well,
so
I don't
was
watch movies with Jean-Claude Van Damme, bro. I mean, that's
Well, it was on Frank W. Duke's, bro. And let me tell you something. There's a great scene in the movie where Van Damme breaks a brick, and the guy goes, "That's basically says that's great, but the brick doesn't hit back." And that's kind of like how the combine is to me, right? You can sit there and go out there and make plays against air, but when you've got to do it against 11 other guys, it's a whole different story. And my question is, if they were as good as you think they are at the combine, why weren't they doing it for 3 to 4 years in college on Saturdays?
Do you have any Steven Seagal references before we move on to the big guys beef?
Hey, anybody seen Bobby Lupo?
I have no clue what you're talking about. We beefing here on Sharp Money. Big guy, you're next.
I mean, if the segments we beef in, Steven Seagal is certainly more beef than Jean-Claude Van Damme, and I've never seen either of their movies. So.
Anybody seen Richie?
No, I haven't seen Richie. I don't know who Richie is, who you're talking about. Anyway.
Big guy, you beefing.
There is a new pandemic that has hit America, and it is people at grocery stores who think that the self-checkout line is for your shopping cart. It's not. If you're going with a full cart or even half a cart or a cart in general, you should not be on that line. That line is meant for efficiency. The self-checkout is to get people in and out quicker who are only grabbing a few items, maybe a basket full, maybe 1 or 2. But if you're sitting there and clogging it up, you are defeating the purpose of its existence. If you have a cart and it can take you more than 2 full minutes to check out all of your items, you should not be in self-checkout. You should walk around and go stand online with everyone else buying the double rolls of toilet paper, buying 7,000 cartons of eggs at once, because you have plenty of time to wait, because you have plenty of time to put all that stuff in the cart. Stop clogging up self-checkout for those of us who have important things to do. My MLB The Show team is not going to go to the World Series if I'm spending 20 minutes behind you at self-checkout. Thank you.
Patrick, I think he's absolutely right. We'll get your take on that in a second. But the one thing I hate now in grocery stores is there's nobody to check you out anymore. They're all self-checkout.
Let's be real about what Dustin talking about grocery stores and self-checkout is all about. He was producing the morning show for the last year plus here on VSiN, so his health has completely fallen off a cliff. Now he's producing a show that starts at noon West Coast time. You have no excuse not to get back in shape and stop yourself from dying an early death. That's really why you're talking about food, let's be fair.
Yeah, and yesterday, because I had time for the first time in a year and a half, I went to the grocery store. And all I could think about was, I could go work out right now, but I can't. 1, my Apple Watch wasn't charged, so you can't work out if your Apple Watch isn't charged all the way. 2, there were people clogging up the self-checkout lane, so it took me longer to get home. So the window I had to work out, waiting for the watch to charge back up, couldn't work out yesterday. Diet starts tomorrow.
By the way, quick question.
I'm going to grade our Beefins today. Yeah. I'm going to give me a solid 8. I actually thought I was probably the best in that segment. Amal, I'm going to give you a 7. Thought you were pretty good. Dustin, I'm going to give you about a 2. Your thoughts?
I think you're undershooting by about 5 times. 5 times 2.
Okay. Amal, your thoughts?
I think you're a little bit hard on Dustin there. I don't understand why you're giving him a 2 there. I thought the argument was very legit. I thought he was able to substantiate his point. It was very well made. I'm not sure exactly what your beef is there.
It would have been better if we had a Jean-Claude Van Damme quote about self-checkouts. That's
let me ask you a question. Listen, Churchill, you want to give me the list of historical figures that I can reference for you so it kind of resonates with you?
What does Winston Churchill have to do with Jean-Claude Van Damme?
My point is, if I gave a Churchill reference, you would have been all about it.
Yes.
Ironically,
yes. Defense wrestler. Where am I wrong, buddy?
Ironically, though, I was trying to be healthy and was buying Brussels sprouts, and he's the muscle from Brussels, so kind of goes hand in hand.
Broccoli's much better anyway.
That's not bad.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.